I remember I had no clue what to do or how to fast. I had no teachers, no books, nothing to do. I went to one of my friends, the only friend I knew that had gone on a fast. I was so foreign to fasting that this might be humorous now, but I had no grid that you could actually go days without food and actually not die. I actually thought you would die if you went without food for a few days. And then my friend begins to tell me stories from the Bible and books that he's read and real men and women of God that have gone on 40-day fasts. And I thought, well, yeah, those were people in the Bible. God was supernaturally helping them. And he goes, yeah, but there's people that do it today. And I go, no, there's no way. There's no way that people can fast for 40 days on water alone or juice or these different things. And I was so foreign to it. I was in total unbelief to it. But yet I knew God was inviting me to give expression to my hunger for Him in order to be satisfied in a way that I had not yet known through fasting. So I stumbled forward, and what made sense to me was to skip eating all day. And I remember going on my college campus, and on Mondays, it was the worst. The Mondays were the worst, and this is why. It's because all my friends in the student lounge were warming up their leftovers from the weekends in like 15 different microwaves. And I remember going outside on campus, sitting on a park bench, sitting down, not eating, not having a clue what to do. I remember thinking, well, if I simply don't eat, that's called starving. And surely fasting isn't just starving. And so I'm thinking, I need to be in the Word of God. I need to feast upon a different kind of food. So I remember opening the Word of God and trying to pray and just hurting. And I remember going, I don't know how to do this. And I remember that night, I would end my fast that very night. I mean, not on something great, on something like pasta or ramen noodles, to be honest with you. And I remember standing over the bowl of boiling water. And when I set that square cube of ramen in the boiling water, just the smell, it was like the sweetest smell that I had smelled since the night before. Ramen never smelled so good. And this is even before the horrible season packet that you put inside of it. All that to say, I would go without food all day, break it on only a ramen noodles that night with such overflowing gratitude to the Lord. And then for whatever reason, what seemed normal to me was to do the same thing the next day. And I did that by the grace of God for some time through college, over and over and over again. But here's my point of describing and figuring out different ways that you can fast. There's so many different ways. You can fast on water, you can fast on juice, you can fast on no pleasant food, as some have said, no meats or sweets. One of the things that really helped me was a conversation that I had with an older gentleman that had been fasting off and on over his life for years. I was in my 20s, he was in his near 70s. And we were both going on a 21-day fast corporately at the same time. And he had come to me and he just said, has the Lord led you of how He wants to lead you in this fast? And I go, man, I have no clue. And he said, have you considered an oatmeal fast? And I thought, no, I've never considered an oatmeal fast. He goes, or rice. And I said, no. And he used a word that was really peculiar to me. He said, it's kind of like a manna fast. I said, what's a manna fast? I just have this idea of the children of Israel in the wilderness only eating manna. I go, how is that a fast? I thought fasting was fasting food. He goes, no, it is. He said, but they were on a pretty radical fast. He goes, imagine eating rice or oatmeal for 40 years of your life and that's it. And I went, I go, can that count for a 40-day fast or a 21-day fast? He goes, of course it can. He goes, I challenge you, try eating only rice as much as you want for 7 days on the fast. And I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I remember engaging in this, going, I was shocked at day 5, 6, and 7 how I loathed rice. I loathed it. It was horrendous. Though it was I realized that what was going on here is I still experienced all the wrestling in my heart. Though I could eat for strength for what I needed to do in that season of my life, I was experiencing a humbling in my heart and an invitation from the Lord to lay hold of something far greater than even the strength that the rice held out to me. So I want to encourage you, when you consider the different ways that you might fast, you can choose so many different ways. Don't count yourself out if you can't be all in on water or all in on natural juices. Consider an option of how you can engage, because regardless of how you choose, that limitation, that weakness, the Lord will use to bring up a conversation with Him. You will feel the power of fasting, even if you're eating a limited amount of something consistently over those days. Like the children of Israel, you will likewise encounter the weakness of even being given the strength to do your day. You will realize that the real pleasure of food in the midst of a fast is all that different pleasure of food, and the Lord is inviting you and I to discover a tasting of Him in that place of fasting, in perhaps a way we might not yet anticipate. So consider, however you choose to move forward in your fast, however you embrace that weakness, don't write it off. Even if you're eating in a certain way, the Lord is going to invite you into a place of wanting to have your taste buds met with Him and His Word alone, regardless of what you're choosing. So consider that as you're looking forward of how you embrace what you're going to relinquish in this fast.